Hi guys. Welcome to our wedding. Thank you so much for coming.
That's right. Thank you.
We wanted to tell our story about how God brought us together, how we met. And a lot of people don't know that we met on Facebook.
Did we?
Yes,
Yeah,
we did.
We did.
We met on Facebook in 2010. And we pretty much conversed on the phone for 2 years before we finally met each other. And why it took so long was because he was very afraid to meet me in person.
She blaming me.
During that time when I first met him on Facebook, I was going through a separation. I was married before, and I was just going through something, and he prophesied to me on Facebook, and he called me Ruth. And he started speaking into my life so detailed, and I was like, oh my God. I got angry at first when he called me Ruth because I know the story of Ruth. Her husband died, she lost everything and had to start all over again. Well, basically, that was my life. My husband didn't die, but we separated in marriage. I pretty much didn't lose everything. I gave everything up and left and had to start all over again. And during that time is when I met Prophet Hector, and he began to minister to me, and that's when I found that my love for God even stronger. During that time, Prophet began to speak life into me, and I realized my worth. I didn't think anything of myself, and he showed me who I was, and I thank God for that. And because of that, my love for God got so much greater and closer. And everybody that knows me know I wear this button every single day, because Jesus was my answer during the time when I was suicidal. He was my answer during the time I was falling into depression, having anxiety. There was a time I was in a hospital and Satan almost took me out. But I thank God for bringing this man into my life and doing the things that he has done, and he didn't give up. He listened and he heard me out. When he did prophesy to me on Facebook, he told me to call him. I was like, I'm not calling him. I'm not calling his number. I'm not going to call him. Then finally, I was like, you know what? Let me call this man. So we was playing. I think I didn't get you or something like that.
You didn't get me.
And then he called me back. And as soon as I said hello, he went in. I mean, he went in from the time I was a child all the way up to my current adult situation at that time. And I was like, oh my God. And I thought he was Jesus. I thought he was a black Jesus. I was like, Jesus is here. I slept with my lights on. I was scared to sleep in the dark because I was like, oh my God, how could somebody know so much about you and they have never even saw you in person?
But you forgot about the cover thing when your eyes remind the cover like that.
Didn't you say, let me tell my story?
Oh, yeah.
See, I'm not going to choke him in this video, y'all. After speaking to him on the phone, he was so detailed in my life. I wanted to meet him. And I didn't understand what the problem was. And finally, I get an inbox, I get a friend request from a James Bronner. So I say to him, who is this James Bronner? Because I didn't know his name right. And he was just like, oh, that's my friend. I'm saying, but why he?
I said, that's my brother.
He said, that's his brother. I said, but why he asking to be my friend? I don't know him. Why he, because, I'm very suspicious. I'm like careful because I'm like, I ain't even meet you yet.
Quality control.
So anyway, he told me about James, and the next thing I know, James inboxed me, invited me to a hair show, and I was like, what is a hair show? I don't want to go and sit and see people model hair. Finally, this one finally agreed to meet me, and when he met me, I found out, and this is a man of God that I talked to for 2 years on the phone. I heard that he said if I didn't look like that girl in that picture, he was going to leave me at the airport or the hair show by myself after 2 years of talking on the phone. And I'm like, wait a minute. So you mean to tell me we talked on the phone for 2 years straight, every single day, not for 2 hours, but like for 4 and 5 hours sometimes.
It's the visual.
And he said that if I didn't look like the girl in the picture, that he was going to leave me, he was going to take me to, Waffle
House. Get you a full
and I wasn't going to get no VIP
or
anything. So him and James had this thing going that if I didn't look like that girl in the picture, they had all this arranged. They didn't left my sister Stephanie out the picture. So she don't know that they planning to like get me out of there if I don't look like the girl in the picture.
That's my dude.
But I would have accepted him with crooked teeth because I know I could have took him to the dentist. I could have worked it out
in here. I got them all.
And everything for 2 years.
All right, well, let me tell you my version. Well,
Let him tell his story.
yeah, but anyway, what happened is I was coming back from probably Tennessee or LA. I can't remember exactly, and I think it was LA, and I had to get some rest because when you go out to LA, and then you get caught up in the air travel. So coming back, getting back to the East Coast, I needed a day to catch back up from being drained and prophesying for 7 days in a row to all kinds of people. So I was in an interesting sleep pattern. I was well rested, so I hadn't been on Facebook probably about 3 months, and my people was talking about you need to get on Facebook and socialize a little bit. I'm like, I'm good. So, but anyway, I got on there. They created my Facebook page. I got on there, so I started saying stuff, and and so every day I would say something about whatever the Lord put in my heart. I would say it. So I can't remember exactly what I said, but she did respond to it. I put it there in less than 10 seconds. Pow, answer. I was like, okay, who is this? So I happened to be right there in front of the computer. So, on my phone, I can't remember exactly which one I was on, but I was right there. I saw it, and I was like, so as soon as I saw her face, I was like, I looked at her, I was like, Lord told me to speak into her life. So I started doing my little, I couldn't do 50 words a minute, but I was, but from that point, I said a couple things, and I was like, you know what, I ain't gonna do all this. So I told her I said, call me. So I gave her my number, and she was like, she called, but then I guess she had selective hearing. She had like she couldn't get through. This is my version. But anyway, she finally got through, and so I said, call me. So we played a minute phone tag or whatever. Now she's threatening to choke me, y'all. But anyway, that's her signal to choke me. So y'all got to document just in case in the future. But anyway, from that point, what actually happened beyond that, she called me. Then I began I call it my radar system. So the prophetic anointing began to kick in. I began to speak. The Lord told me to speak. I went up and down her like an X-ray machine, and I went to every part, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And so, we went from there. As time began to pass, I was like, I wasn't even thinking about meeting her, didn't want to meet her. But lo and behold, through all that, I said, you know what? I said, she's at that time, I said, she's a cute girl. My mind wasn't on beautiful or pretty or anything. My mind was like, hey, she's a cute girl. My mind ain't even thinking about her. I talk to her every day to help her out of a situation. But even in all that, I had to be a great listening ear. Did I want to do it? No. But the fact that she was a cute girl, I said, I'll listen to her for a little bit. I wasn't even thinking about trying to get with her. My mind wasn't on nothing about her. My mind was on, okay, I'm going to help her fix her problem. And that's where we're going to leave it at. And from that point, as time went by, I began like, she's pretty interesting. I began to see things, and I began to troubleshoot her and tell her what to do. I told her some books to read, and told her to get back to praying, and turn stuff loose. It was a journey, but it was worth the journey because she was very sensitive when I met her. She was like, and I was like, I had my little dart, and I was just popping balloons, just having myself a good time. And she was trying to protect this one area, and that's the area I wanted to get to because I know the beauty was there. I'm so glad you ain't ugly. But anyway, the beauty was there. And every time
they took me to the Waffle House.
She wouldn't even be sitting here doing the video with me, y'all. If she was ugly, she wouldn't even be on the video right now. I'm telling you, y'all.
Keep on going.
Now look at me. We like this, guys. Y'all hear me? We like. I feel that this little girl, Little Red, that she completes me. She has a way of making me laugh. Even in the moments when she's a little bit abrasive and she know how to say certain things, and she give me my space when I need it. She's very caring. She compliments me. I don't ask for much. She's always sufficient and more than sufficient. She want to know my whereabouts. She want to know, have I eaten? So the love.
You brush your teeth.
See, well, that part is covered. I got that down pat. But sometimes she called me dirty boy if I stayed up all night and I haven't took a shower just yet. But
I'm like, oh, you dirty.
The love that she has for me is from the inside out, not from the outside in. So it's hard to really say what kind of love that she facilitates because her love is action, it's not verbal. So, I can't really describe something that is natural. She produces it naturally. So it's not a premeditated love. She's just a giver. And that's what I love about her. You know, she always had my back, my best interest. You know, I don't try to impress her. I'm very I stay humble, and I love the fact that that she loved me with a piece of chicken, and she loved me without a piece of chicken. She loved me with a steak. She loved me without a steak. You know, she just I love the fact that she allows me to be myself, and I always tell her to be herself.
Well, what I love most about you, his love for God attracts me to a level that I have never experienced with any man in my life. I remember one time when I was calling him in the morning and texting him, and he didn't respond to me, and I was upset, and I'm like, why is he's not answering my calls? And it was like for a time period, like hours, and I'm just like upset. It's early morning and it's getting to the noon. So I finally spoke to him. I was like, well, why didn't you call me? He said, listen, when I get up in the morning, the first thing I do is I talk to God. That's what I focus on, and that's what I do. And nobody's going to stop me or change what I do. My God is everything to me. He's been there for me. And from that point, I looked at him like, wow. I was like, that's awesome. Like, he put me in my place, but in such a way, what I'm going to say, don't make time for God. You're supposed to call me. So I was just like blown away by that. And I love the fact that he's such a gentleman. He opens and closes doors for me. You know, by us living distance, I'm in Jersey. He was in Atlanta. He would call me, Little Red, I'm putting lunch in your account today for you to have lunch or dinner. And I thought that was sweet. Like, he's still dating me, even though we're long distance. And I love the fact that he let me be myself. You know, I have different characters. I think I'm Spanish somewhere in my body.
Oh, yeah,
so my other name is Maria Conchita Gonzalez. So if I learn Spanish, it's a wrap. It's a wrap if I learn Spanish. I'm telling you, it's going to be a wrap. Y'all not going to be able to tell me nothing. But anyway, he let Maria come around sometimes. You know.
Maria crazy.
So I like the fact that he lets me be myself. He is my friend. I can talk to him about everything. He's not biased. Like, he corrects me. If I come to him about something, he'll tell me if I'm wrong. He don't take sides with a friend or even anybody. He would tell me if I'm wrong. And I'll be like, how he gonna sit up here and be on her side? He's supposed to be on my side. He said, no, Little Red. You're a child of God. That's not how you're supposed to think. So he's always like redirecting me in the right position. Like, I'm like, you know what, he's right. So he's helping me with my walk, because I also know that I have a calling on my life, or else God wouldn't allow me to be with this man. For me, you know, it wasn't so much physical, although I do thank God that he's a very handsome man, you know, and his teeth are clean and white, and that gave it a plus. But from our conversations for 2 years, I would still, you know, talk to you, and I would never just say forget you if you had crooked teeth. I would have just said, well, you know, I would ask you if you got insurance so we can work that out.
You know, see, she ain't saying nothing about spending no money. She
I'm saying, because you ain't trying to, you're trying to take me to the Waffle House. I don't even eat waffles.
They had other things.
I don't even eat waffles.
They had grits and eggs and
bacon,
they
had the
sausage.
Pancake House in New Jersey, and I don't even go to the Pancake House.
Well, you wasn't going to be in Jersey. You was going to be in the A.
One day, he said, you look beautiful yesterday, and I was like, okay, I looked beautiful yesterday, but today is a new day. Why he didn't tell me I looked beautiful yesterday? He said, I didn't tell you look beautiful yesterday because today you needed to hear that you look beautiful. And I was like, which cloud did you come from? What cloud did you fall from? I was like, wait. My God is awesome. That's all I gotta say. So, thank you guys again for coming out. We love you. We hope you enjoy the service. And we are so glad that you are here to support us. We love you all. Bye.
All right, I'm James Bronner. PJ is Prophet Hector calls me, and I call him PH. So.
That's PJ. I didn't know that. James Bronner here. PJ, this my dude. My dude.
That's my friend, my brother, and glad to be here with him and Caprice, celebrating this day with them. And just to give you a little bit of history of how this day came about, So we were friends for years, and we would pray together, talk on the phone together. He would come by the church and minister.
So we still don't pray. We still
we still
now.
pray. We still pray now. But we're going back to the start of it.
He going back. I'm just in the car. I'm in the car.
So in the midst of all that, I invited him out to our hair show, and he came several times, and then I recognized in his life that he needed a counterpart to really balance him out, and for God to take him to the level that he needed to be. And I would pray with him for a long time about it. So he got tired of me praying about it. So I know he was a special guy. He had a special walk in his prophetic walk, and he's what he call a private public guy. So he's
you the one that no, you the one told me I was public private.
So I knew he needed that person in private to really be that support that helped me with him, and I knew God had to form that special person with his own hands. So I would pray for it every time we prayed, and I was just waiting for the manifestation. So we had thousands of women at the show.
Oh boy,
we couldn't all shapes, sizes,
and colors,
different colors. So we
complexions.
We couldn't find that match even out of all of those thousands of women.
Because I had my
show
eyes
after
shut.
show.
My eyes were shut.
But he knew I was hot on him. So one day he held as long as he could. He waited about 2 years before he finally told me he was talking to this woman on the phone and on the computer.
That was a girl. That wasn't a woman. That was a girl.
So he knew I was going to be on it. He didn't want to hear my mouth, so he waited 2 years before he told me.
Oh, yeah.
So he told me he'd been talking remotely to her, and I like, nah, we got to get y'all together. Ain't nobody got time for that. Y'all just been talking on. I said, we got to put you in some real life situations
and I
together.
told him I was good. I was cool. I told him, no, I'm good. I'm straight. I'm
So
straight.
I got her name and went on Facebook and friended her and invited her to come to the hair show. So
he
I
did
said,
that thing quick.
I said, we got to get y'all together. So waiting on him, it'd been another 5 years. They would have still been communicating on the phone and the internet.
We wouldn't even made it this far. But thanks to this guy. Thanks to this guy and his venue. The International Hair Show was the venue that connected us, and sometimes you just never know how things gonna go, and so that was a good location. We had
neutral ground. Yep.
We had variety. Restaurants was available. You got some scenery, and I used the hair show as relaxation. So, and it was he the one branded that focal point. So you never know when you're gonna meet somebody. Sometimes you don't meet everybody at church.
That's right.
Sometimes you don't meet everybody in the grocery store. I happened to meet her, social media, physically via hair show, and it was a blessing. Yeah.
But after they really got going good, he'll tell you, I eased off of him. I said, I'm not gonna rush him. No, he needs to be sure in his own time, and that God will lead him for this day. So I did.
But other people took your spot.
That's right. That's right.
Pushing.
So I let both of them really learn each other and really grow in their love together. So I thank God for them taking their time, being careful, and learning all of the ins and outs of each other so that they can really know one another before they enter into it. Because this is a serious union. So as anybody who's married knows. So I thank God that now they're ready, they're mature in their love, and they're ready to have the rest of their life together in a beautiful, wonderful love.
Hi everyone, my name is Stephanie Bronner. Prophet Hector calls me Dr. Stephanie. Welcome to the wedding. We're so excited that it has finally come to pass, and you all are a part of a very, very special event where God has taken two very wonderful people in two completely different parts of the world and brought them together. One was paying attention to her life and he was paying attention to his life, but in the process of time, as with all of your lives, God can begin to join you in many different ways and bring about a fellowship that it'll totally blow your mind, because the Word of God says He will do exceeding abundantly above all that we can ask or think, according to the power that worketh within us, which is our faith. And those two people had that very faith in their minds, knowing that God was going to provide their equal soulmate at the right time. And we had known Prophet Hector for quite some time. He is a man of God. He's the type that he literally spends days with the Lord, hours with God. He has no problem not going out of his home because he has a true divine relationship with the Father. So her comments earlier about him stating that he was not going to call her in the morning because the first thing he does is talks with his father, that is typical of him. And Caprice has had a life of a wonderful relationship with God because she felt that there was no other person that could take care of her when she went through the things that she went through. And God allowed the two of them to come together. Well, I can confirm that there was a plot that I found out after the fact, because if I had known that they were going to leave my girl high and dry if she was not the right size and not the right look, oh, it was going to be on and popping between me and Mr. Bronner. But Mr. Bronner and Prophet Hector, you know, men are visual, so I get it. But at the same time, her beauty was just so far above what they expected, because she's a model and she takes great care of herself. She's teaching me things about my skin, about my health, and I'm pretty healthy already, but she's got a lot of knowledge and understanding on how to take care of herself, and they could not believe that she was going to look like that girl in that picture. They just knew she had taken somebody else's picture and put it on her page, and that she was the total opposite of what was on that picture. And I believe James said, "I'm so glad you were that girl in that picture." So it was so funny that their expectations were low because her heart was right, her spirit was right. She was a praying woman. She had her mind stayed on God, and to combine that with beauty, it was almost impossible. So for the Lord to bring this about, it was through faith and expectation, and they set their expectations high, and God has truly brought them together. And the incident where I was riding in the car, being that Prophet Hector is so private and that he has such a deep relationship with God, the Lord just pushed my heart to tell him a few things, and we were in the middle of transit. So I jumped out the car and went to the window, his driver's side window, and I just began to tell him, and we were in the street. It was a red light, but we were in the street, and I began to tell him what God said. It was to open your heart and let someone actually love you, because he was so geared toward God. It's like the Lord had to have an outside person that he trusted come to him and say, it's okay. It's okay to release this relationship we have and let someone else come in. I'm going to love both of you. So from there, he looked up at me he looked a little kid. He was just like, why did you have to come tell me that? But from there, I believe God began to minister to Prophet Hector and Caprice, and it has made this union today that is so wonderful, so magnificent, and I'm so excited that you are witnessing it.